In the heart of every city and the quiet corners of every village, there are stories woven between the ordinary moments, tales that begin with something as simple as a loaf of bread and grow into lessons about kindness, resilience, and the enduring power of humanity. Today, we journey through such a story, one that has echoed across generations and continents, reminding us how a single act, born from necessity or compassion, can change the course of a life, and perhaps even touch the world. Our story begins on a biting winter morning, not in the pages of a novel, but on the streets where real people live their daily struggles. The air is sharp, the ground frosted, and the city bustles in the gray-blue dawn. Within the alleys, a woman hurries along, her coat thin against the cold, her hands clutching a small bundle wrapped in brown paper. Inside, still warm from the bakery's oven, lies a single, humble loaf of bread, the only meal she has to share with her family for the day. For many, bread is an afterthought, a staple that sits quietly on the kitchen counter. But for her, it is the difference between hunger and hope. Each step she takes is heavy with the weight of responsibility, yet she moves swiftly, determination guiding her through the crowded streets. She is not alone in her struggle. Around her, the city pulses with others facing the same daily battles: parents, children, the elderly, all striving to provide, to survive. As she rounds a corner, a voice calls out, soft but insistent. Seated on the cold stone steps is a man, his hands outstretched, his eyes hollow with exhaustion. He is a stranger to her, yet his suffering is familiar. She pauses, torn between her obligation to her family and the human instinct to help. For a moment, time slows. She looks down at the loaf of bread in her hands, then back into the eyes of the man before her. Her mind races with questions. Will my children understand if I share? Will I regret this choice? But beneath the questions, a gentle certainty emerges. She remembers the stories told by her mother of how sharing what little one has can multiply blessings in unexpected ways. With a steady breath, she breaks the loaf in half, handing one piece to the man. He accepts it with trembling hands, gratitude flooding his features as he whispers a broken "thank you." That moment, quiet and unnoticed by the world, becomes an act of courage, a choice to trust in the abundance of kindness, even when resources are scarce. The next day, the world moves on as it always does. But for this woman, everything changes. As she prepares to leave for work, there is a knock at her door. Standing before her is a nobleman, his clothes dusted with the morning chill, his eyes kind. He explains that he has heard of her generosity. The story of the shared loaf has reached him, passed from the grateful man on the street to the ears of those who can help. Moved by her selflessness, the nobleman offers her new opportunities: employment, stability, and the promise of a better life for her and her family. This is not a fairy tale, nor a distant legend. Versions of this story play out every day, in our own neighborhoods, offices, and cities. A forgotten loaf of bread, an unexpected act of humanity, and the ripple effect that follows. These are the true markers of a society's soul. The story echoes a real event that shaped literature and society alike. In 1846, Victor Hugo, renowned author and keen observer of the human condition, was walking the streets of Paris when he witnessed the arrest of a man. The man's crime? Stealing a loaf of bread to feed his sister's 7 starving children during a brutal winter. The authorities showed no mercy, and the man's desperate act was met with the full weight of the law. Hugo, deeply moved, transformed this moment into fiction, giving birth to the character of Jean Valjean in Les Miserables. Through his writing, Hugo exposed the harsh realities of poverty and the need for compassion within the rigid frameworks of justice. But the story doesn't end there. The world has changed, yet these themes remain as relevant as ever. In a recent account from June 2025, a poor woman with nothing but a single loaf of bread made the decision to share it with a starving beggar. Her generosity was not a grand gesture, not intended for recognition or reward. Yet, the beggar, moved beyond words, offered a simple prayer for her. The next morning, opportunity arrived at her door in the form of a nobleman whose gratitude and support transformed her circumstances. This modern retelling is a testament to how the smallest acts of kindness can unlock doors we never imagined existed. What can we learn from these stories? First, that true humanity is not measured by wealth or status, but by the willingness to see ourselves in others, to recognize suffering and respond with empathy. In the rush of daily life, it's easy to overlook those in need. A forgotten loaf of bread, a missed opportunity to help, might seem insignificant. But for the person in need, it is everything. Second, acts of kindness, no matter how small, have a way of multiplying. The bread shared on a winter morning becomes a story told and retold, inspiring others to look beyond themselves. We see it in community kitchens, where volunteers serve meals to strangers. We see it in neighbors who check on the elderly, in teachers who buy lunch for hungry students, in friends who share what little they have. Each gesture, like a single drop in a pond, sends ripples outward, touching lives in ways we may never fully understand. There is a practical wisdom here, too, for anyone seeking to build a life rooted in purpose and connection. When we choose compassion over indifference, we open ourselves to unexpected possibilities. The woman who broke her bread in half did not know what would follow. She acted not for reward, but from a place of empathy. Yet her choice brought about a transformation, not only for herself, but for her family and her community. In our world today, where challenges often feel overwhelming and divisions run deep, these stories remind us of what is possible when we act with courage and heart. The bread we give away, a meal, a kind word, a moment of our time, may seem like a sacrifice, but it is also an investment in a future defined by hope and solidarity. Imagine for a moment the sharp, vivid visuals of these acts. A woman's hands, weathered but gentle, breaking bread on a cold morning. The grateful eyes of a stranger meeting her gaze with silent thanks. The warm light of a home, once filled with worry, now brightened by new opportunity. These are not images conjured for fiction. They are scenes from real life, repeated in countless variations each day. This is the mission of Kinang Song, to shine a light on the skills and stories that help us live better, more connected lives. We believe that life skills are not just about practical knowledge, but about cultivating empathy, resilience, and generosity. They are the building blocks of strong communities and fulfilled individuals. So, how can we translate these lessons into our own lives? Start by noticing. The next time you pass someone in need, a neighbor struggling with groceries, a colleague overwhelmed with work, a stranger on the street, pause. See them. Acknowledge their humanity. Often, the greatest gift we can give is our attention, our willingness to listen and understand. Practice sharing, even when it feels difficult. Whether it's food, time, or encouragement, what we offer to others comes back to us in unexpected ways. The act of giving creates a bond, a reminder that none of us is truly alone. Cultivate gratitude, not only for what you have, but for the opportunities to give. Each day brings new chances to make a difference, however small. By recognizing these moments, we shift our focus from scarcity to abundance. Finally, remember that every act of kindness has the potential to create change. The world's greatest transformations often begin with a single, seemingly insignificant gesture, a loaf of bread, a helping hand, an open heart. As we move forward, let us keep these stories close. Let us strive to be the person who shares their bread, who chooses compassion over convenience, who believes in the power of humanity. For in doing so, we honor the legacy of those who came before us and inspire those who will come after. The next time you see a loaf of bread, remember, it is more than food. It is a symbol of our shared existence, a reminder that in every act of giving, no matter how small, lies the potential for hope, connection, and transformation. Let us not forget the forgotten loaf of bread, nor the unexpected acts of humanity that define us. For in these moments, we find the true measure of our lives and the enduring strength of our communities.